All right. Well, hello again, YouTube. My name's James, and I'm the Con.
And I'm Bobby, and I'm the bot.
And together we are.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Got some great news for you this week. A lot of new updates. But let's start with this announcement that came out from Hasbro. Even though it's a few weeks off, it's really, really exciting me. It's February 28th, 10 a.m. A toy of titanic proportions. Now, there's rumors of it being the blue version of Omega Supreme, the Gladiator. But there's also that news of there being a new Titan and it being the Nemesis. So I wonder which one it's going to be.
Yes, and I think there's also an opportunity to get Tidal Wave as well. Not saying that we will, but with all of the Armada love that we've been getting with Optimus Prime and also Megatron that have been recently shown off. Well, they weren't shown off, but teased, let me say. I think, we might have a tidal wave in the future, and my fingers are crossed for that one.
I'd really like a Guardian Omega
Yeah.
Supreme. I really like that Omega Supreme from War for Cybertron. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind, a Decepticon ship as well, since it's been teased a lot.
Yes, and
Guess
I think I would be down for that repaint of Omega Supreme as well, because as you know, I'm the repaint guy, and that is much more along my terms.
well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see, but I'm excited about it.
Yes, yes, and we'll definitely be covering this. So tune in on the 28th or so, and we'll have our thoughts.
Sounds good.
Well, let's move on to the normal news, and let's start off with what was just announced. And we have a lot of it. A lot has been going on in the Transformer world, and one of the most recent things that I know you were initially very excited for is the Cybertron mode Jazz. Now, this will be a buzzworthy Bumblebee Target exclusive, and it was revealed at the Transformers Brand Team Fan Roundtable for February 2023, which I didn't even know was a thing until they did it. So, what are your thoughts on this figure, Bobby?
So I didn't know it was a thing either. I'm mad I missed it. So the first thing I saw was the alt mode, and immediately I thought they're finally coming out with Jazz from the original G1 episode, the first episode since we got the buzzworthy Bumblebee a few years ago, I guess it was, of their Cybertronian mode. And then I looked at the colors. I was like, wait a minute, that's not Wheeljack. Then I saw it was
Yeah.
Jazz, and I said, that doesn't make sense. I'm still gonna pick it up. I love the alt mode, and I think this just sets the scene for them coming out with the Wheeljack. But I think that the Wheeljack would have made sense to start with, and then on the downside, that chest on the bot mode looks a little weird.
Yes, I agree. Before we get to that chest, because I have a few things to talk about that. Um, I guess that people are saying online that they're not making a wheeljack because I guess Bumblebee is supposed to fit on wheeljack and it transports him around or something. I can't
Yeah.
remember that episode. And that's why
Yes.
they didn't do it, is because that would have to be quite large to have that Bumblebee on him. That'd have to be like a Voyager or Leader class. So that's what people are assuming. But either which way, I like the alt mode on this. I think it's very unique. But I have a very big issue with that chest because that's a Porsche, and that does not turn into a Porsche. And there's no reason why a Cybertronian from thousands of light years away would have a Porsche chest. That makes no sense to me, and I think this is super lazy, and I will not be getting it. They could have at least made the chest look like the car's front end. It is I think this is one of the worst things. One step up from Grimlock because of that chest, and it shows how they're not putting any effort into thinking about it. They're just saying G1, just pump out G1, 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 because they know it sells.
And I assume you're talking about the core class Grimlock when you say Grimlock.
Yes, excuse me. Yes, the core class Grimlock, the one coming out
Okay.
this year.
Yes. So
Yes.
I yeah, I agree. I mean, they could have used the same chest that's on the alt mode here, as the front panel.
And
I
yeah,
go ahead.
honestly, if it had that, I probably would have picked this up because it's a unique alt mode. But with that it ruins the whole thing. That chest for me completely.
Yeah. So I'm still picking this up, but mine will live in alt mode just because that I mean, I've been waiting for forever for that. It saddens me to hear if that's factual that they're not making the wheeljack because it's too big. I mean, sorry, they've made other things that I mean, look at the Junkions. I don't remember any Junkions being that small or a truck that's smaller than a motorcycle.
Yeah.
So you could have, brought us the Jazz and just made him wider, or not the Jazz, the Wheeljack, and made him wider. Bumblebee doesn't have to slide inside of him. I mean, come on, Hasbro, you've done worse before.
Yes, and I completely agree. And those were just what people were thinking. So it's not factual at all. It was just people discussing on, I believe it was Reddit that I was looking at.
Gotcha.
Okay, let's move on to another. I don't know if this is studio series because technically it's not from the show, but I'm still another studio series character, I guess, which is we got it leaked by via Chefatron, um, leader class Snarl. We have their in-hand images, and I think this looks okay for the people that want to collect these, but that head sculpt is not jiving with me. The proportions look a little wonky, and those cockeyed knees are really annoying me. But the alt mode looks really cute and amazing. So I'll give it to them there, but I will be sticking with Shura King as my Dinobots for sure.
Yeah. I didn't even notice the knees. That is hilarious.
I could. That's the first thing my eye went to. I'm like, why are the knees bent out? And I know it's due to transformation and blah blah blah, but that doesn't mean I have to like it.
I actually really like this one, and Snarl is not one of my favorite Dinobots, and in fact, he's probably my least favorite Dinobot. But out of all the studio series thus far, he's looking like he might be my favorite out of all of them. The head is actually pretty spot on to what I remember from G1. Now, his shoulders, he does, look like he can play on the front line of most football teams with that chest and shoulders, but and the legs are a little thin as it goes from the the waist down. But that bot mode is gorgeous, and I'm really excited about this one. So, yeah, I love it actually, and the poses that they've shown, you have that him almost doing a split there. That's amazing. So I'm really looking forward to it. I didn't notice the knees though. That is hilarious.
Well, we will agree to disagree because this has no place in my collection. I would not be spending nearly almost $60 on this. I know you have fondness for G1, but that head is just so bland. You could stick that on any bot, and you could say, "Oh, that's a hauler head, that's a Inferno head," and I'd be like, "Okay, yeah."
Makes
There's no
sense.
uniqueness to it, but that's again coming from the guy who wants you know universe reptilion in a masterpiece form. So I get it. So more movie toys are coming out, and we've got the Rise of the Beast mainline, so not studio series. This is the mainline Voyager Rhinox. So I'm assuming this is going to be like their Cyberverse line, but for it's like the kids line, I guess, for Beasts. I don't know exactly all the different lines they're coming across. And this looks okay. Um, I like the horn on the shoulder. I think that's a cool design, I've got to say. But I will not be picking this up.
So I actually thought this was from the movie, and
It is
so
from the movie. It's just not the studio series version. So
well,
studio series is like Generations. This is going to be more like the Cyberverse type of line for
I, I
kids.
guess I guess I said that wrong. I I thought it was one and the same uh
Okay.
from what was coming out, and I actually do not like the horns on the shoulder. What I do like though is how the chains on the side of his arms I like the detail there. That looks
Hmm,
really good. The detail around his eye looks really good. In the bot mode, the detail around the silver pieces around his legs and things. I really like the detail that they show in this. The color is a little blah, but I understand why. It's definitely a different Rhinox than what we're used to seeing.
definitely. And I think I like the horns on the shoulder, not for Rhinox, but I think that would be really cool for another Rhino character to have it, something like that. And
That
I
that might,
honestly don't think it is transformed that way. I think you unplug the horns and plug it in,
yeah, don't like
which is a
that.
little disappointing. But alongside Rhinox, we also saw the Prime. Now, what do you think of this Prime, Bobby?
So he definitely works out on his upper body. That when I first saw it, I was like, this isn't a bad looking Prime. It looks okay. I did. I mean, my eyes automatically go to the red around the chest and the arms, and then to the blue in the legs, the lower legs, and I totally miss all that gray in there in the middle. And so it would be nice if there was some more gray in there, but you know, with this, even in the alt mode, it looks like there's more red than what is appearing on the bot mode. So it literally looks like what we see in red is all the red there is. And I guess that's a lot of flaps then.
Yes, and I've noticed that as well. And again, this is not Studio Series, so hopefully it'll come in at a lower price point. But I don't like all that gray on this thing. I think it honestly looks quite lazy, just like the Rhinox with the monotoned. Even though the chains were cool, I think that they could do a lot more with this. But I really wanted to bring attention to its size. So this is going to be a Voyager, and it is up to the shoulders of the old Studio Series Prime and the was it Earthrise Prime? That's a
That is,
deluxe.
that is very small.
Yes. And if they're charging $30 for this thing, that's gonna be crazy.
Well, and then
That's
what's going to happen?
almost legend size for Optimus Prime, to be quite honest with you.
Well, and then what's going to happen is, some third party company is going to make some leg extensions for it to make it taller. So you got to add on another 20, 30, $40 for that. So,
Hmm.
wow, that is very tiny.
Yes. Yeah. So if this is the way the Voyagers are going and the prices stay the same, I'm gonna have a hard time justifying them as long as it's not something that I'm pining for.
Well, I'm also, now that you have it up, I'm also just looking at all the different colors around that midsection of the one on the left and the one on the right, and seeing what's
Mhm.
missing from it as well. So
Yes, the old Studio Series from Bumblebee is a very good figure. I have the Nemesis knockoff. I never got the original colors, but it looks really good. And I almost picked it up when I saw it at Target, but I passed on it. So I think that if this is a kid's toy and it's like $20 for a kid, perfect. I'd be
right,
happy with this. But if
right.
they're charging premium prices, then they got another thing coming.
I may have to agree with you on that.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on and we get the first look at the Rise of the Beast Alliance packaging. So this is even more kid-like than the other one, which I don't, that's why I'm so confused. And I really like the green packaging. I think it's going to stand out on the shelf. What are your thoughts on the packaging? Not the figures. We'll get to the figures in a second.
No, I like the colors. It's
Yeah.
the green makes me think of like grass and trees and things like that. So
Hmm.
the animals are in their natural habitat. So I like it.
Yeah, I think it's going to stand out on the shelf. People are going to be like, "Whoa, this is Transformers!" So I like
Yeah.
it. So now let's get onto the figures in the kids line, not the main line. This is the kids version, and it's going to be the stub line called Beast Alliance. So the first one we have are the Legends or Core class figures, depending on if you're an old fart like me or you're collecting the new stuff. So this is obviously Bumblebee, Optimus, and Rhinox, and they look just fine. I think if you get this for a kid, they'd be happy with it.
So I think bot mode is fine. The alt mode, why is Prime smaller than everybody?
Budget limitations.
Good gosh, I mean, he should be this. I mean, Bumblebee should be that size, and not Optimus, but that's my gripe. But it for a kid line, I agree. Hopefully the price point fits. But yeah, that Prime looks so small.
I agree, but I understand coming from somebody who grew up with having Legends figures everywhere. They make everybody the same size no matter what, because they're just like the cheap. They're not supposed to be in scale or anything like that.
That's definitely not.
So let's move on to some beast combiners. And this is Bumblebee and Snarlsaber, RC and Silverfang, and Optimus Primal and Skullcruncher, because I guess Skullcruncher isn't a bad guy anymore. And this is the main figure, and then there's an animal that like goes on top of it to create armor. And I think these are actually really cool. And if I was a kid, I would have loved them, but I don't need to be collecting them.
If I was probably 6, 7, I think I have to agree with you. I hate that I have to agree with you. I was a little upset at Skullcruncher being a good guy, uh, but if I was 6 or 7, I would know no better. So I like it. It is kind of a cool factor. It's your introduction to combiners.
Yes, and I think I have the Cheetor from Cyberverse a few years back that had the same gimmick, and it was fine. I just wanted a Cheetor. So I think that these will be great for kids.
Yeah.
So now let's go on to the Weaponizer 2-packs. And here we have Optimus with Chain Claw and Optimus Primal with Arrow Stripe. Now, this is probably your Prime that will scale well with the other ones, like what you were saying.
Yes.
And I don't want these figures, but I want those Target Masters.
That chain claw is really good looking.
I might pick these up. I don't have the prices, but I think they were like $14.99 or something. I might pick these guys up just for those Target Masters. I think the bow and arrow with what was his name? Arrow Stripe is really interesting as well.
Yeah. The chainsaw might pull me in a little bit for that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. And let's
And I
go on
like
to
the colors
something
on the
that.
prime.
Oh, go on.
I like the colors on the prime.
It's a lot better than the bigger version, that's for sure.
It is. It is.
So why don't we move on to something that I know I'm going to pick up? I'm picking all three of these up, and it's Cheetor, Rhinox, and Skullcruncher, and their Battle Master forms, and they turn into weapons. And I think they're going to be like $4.99 or $7.99 or something like that. I am picking all of these up to arm out my other figures. No, they're not going to be Cheetor, Rhinox, and Skullcruncher. I'm going to figure out some other names for them, but these are really cool. Rhinox's is a little weird.
The butt cannon.
It's
The
a little
butt
weird,
Gatling gun.
but that makes me like it even more. So I would these are the only things probably of everything we talked about today so far that I would be picking up.
I don't know about these, but you'll let me know how they are. I don't know. I look at Rhinox and makes me think of Pumbaa from Timon and Pumbaa, and he's letting you have it with gas.
It's a gas gun.
Yes,
So they don't
yes.
tell you.
So
Yeah, no, and I just love little Target Masters, so these are definitely getting added to my collection.
yeah, I can see that.
Okay, so we have one more from the kids line, and this is called Beast Mode Bumblebee. Now it is the weirdest thing I think I've seen. It's going to be 10 inches tall, and supposedly it's a triple changer where he turns from a car to a robot to a bird. And he has a bird peeking out of his chest. I don't
Yeah,
even know what to say. This is the weirdest thing I've seen in a long time with Transformers, and not the good type of weird like I like.
I
So
thought you
I'm
would be all
wondering
over
if Bumblebee is going to gain a beast mode in the movie and be a bird.
it. I thought you would be all over this.
No, no.
This is like right up your line. Maybe if it was like neon green and purple or something.
It's funny you say that. I was just about to say maybe if they painted it in neon green, I'd buy it, and they give it a different head that's not Bumblebee, I'd totally be down. But I have it in my head that Bumblebee turns into a Bumblebee if he was going to be in Beast Wars, not a bird. That doesn't make
I,
any sense.
well, it's kind of how I felt when Bumblebee didn't turn into a bug car. He turned into a Camaro. So I get it.
It's just, and I don't understand the gimmick of this, but again, I'm going to take a step back. If I was 6 and I didn't
Six.
know any better, this would be a fun toy.
Yeah, 6-year-old me would have passed on this too.
Ah, that's what you think. So, I'm curious to see if there's going to be an actual bird mode and what's going on with that.
Bumble swoop, move over.
He don't need no swoop. He's his own bird.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so now we're going to go into something completely different that was just released, and we're going to talk about another Bumblebee. And now this is the Kotobukiya Bishoyu. Excuse me if I pronounced that wrong. And it's Transformers Bumblebee statue. They showed off Optimus and Megatron, and now they're showing off Bumblebee. And I've got to say, they did a good job transferring Bumblebee into an anime girl. So,
I I have
just
to
like the
agree.
Megatron and Optimus, I think they did good jobs with those two. This kind of has Bumblebee's whimsical attitude, and I don't hate it. It's not something for my collection, but I don't hate it.
Well, I saw another picture of this standing next to, I think it was MP Optimus Prime,
Mm-hmm.
and these things are really big,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
I didn't expect them to be that big. I'm not a statue collector, but if I was, I would actually go in on all three of these. They do look really good, and I
I
like
would
the little
agree. Yeah.
I like the little gun on her side too. It's kind of cute. Like, I'm cute, but don't mess with me.
Yeah, and I always like Japanese fashion, so this is really cool, but it just doesn't have a place in my collection.
I can see you wearing that, James.
Oh, wait till the next TFCon. You want see? I'll have Steph make it. I'll be in the cosplay. Um, you'll see me walking down the runway.
I don't know you.
All right, so let's move on to some third party stuff. And the first thing we have is the Doctor Wu DW E14P Energy Dragon, the toxic version. And this is not even Legends or Core class. It's smaller than that, and it's Toxitron. And they already showed off the Toxitron, so now they're showing off their Tripticon. Excuse me, they already showed off their Tripticon, so now they're showing off the repaint and the toxic version. And I think this is just darn cute. Will I be picking it up? No, but it is really cute. I love the colors. They're right up my alley. And I would buy a fully fledged Toxitron in these colors, to be quite honest with you.
I almost opened up Pandora's box and bought the Triptychon version of this and some of the other Doctor Wu figures just to go along with some of my MP scale, or Titan class bases as well. And I'm so glad I didn't pull the trigger on that because there's so many of these that I like. I
Yeah.
would probably pass on this one, but the Triptychon, the original colors, I would have definitely grabbed that one.
Yes, so I think this is cute. I might pick it up just to have a little dinosaur guy, but I probably won't. There's too much coming out. But if we see it at TFCon for like 15, $20, I totally pick it up.
40
I don't know
bucks.
how much it's going for.
60
Okay,
bucks.
now, yeah, no, that's not happening. So let's move on to something that I'm interested in, very interested in, and that's TransArt's Transmetal Tarantulas. I cannot tell you how excited I am for this figure, and they better do the Fox Kids repaint in silver and black. But I'll be buying this regardless of the color, honestly. I
Did you just
know
say Fox
what?
Kids repaint?
So there was a line of Beast Wars that were the Fox Kids repaints. Yeah.
Like the Fox Kids, the channel? Like, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah.
do remember
You're
that. Okay.
100% correct. Yeah. And it was a black and silver one, and it's really rare, but I have it. It's up here somewhere. I'm still putting up my shelves. But I absolutely love Tarantulas as a character. He is one of my favorite childhood toys and characters. I know you don't have that connection to him, but I grew up wanting to be tarantulas. So the weird scientist guys, that's totally what I wanted. So this is a no-brainer for me. I'll be buying this.
You know,
Both colors if they come out with them.
you can legally change your name to Tarantulas.
I could. Definitely could.
I'm on the fence about this character. I did pick up the Transmetal's Rat Trap, which was a shock to you, I
Mm-hmm.
know, but
That
also to
definitely
me.
was, yeah.
So I don't know. I may pick it up. I'm gonna have to see it in color, and we'll see.
Do you remember the colors that he's supposed to be?
No, like red and I do remember like a red, black, and
Purple,
silver. Or,
purple, blue, black, orange,
oh God, I was
green.
way off. I was
Yeah,
way
he's
off.
like he's everything. But
Yeah,
all the chrome on him is an orange, and then he has purple legs, and then he has like a blackish blue underbody, and then he also has purple thrown out through him and green eyes, and it's gorgeous. It comes
yeah.
together perfectly.
You're pushing me over the fence on the opposite way of not getting it. I'll have to see it. Yeah, I'll have to see it.
Okay, let's move on to something else that I think you would be interested in if you like the little guys, and that's Magic Square's Bruticus. So this is, they don't have a name for it yet. They don't have a combined mode picture as far as I could find online. Maybe I missed it, but this is their rendition of Bruticus. And I know if you collected Legends figures, this would be a no-brainer for you.
Yeah, this would be. And actually, there's, from what I've seen, there is two versions of the combiner mode. They have the
Oh,
toy version and the tune version. And I
hmm.
think it all comes in the box, I hope,
Huh.
for those who collect Legends, but it looks great. And I would be on the, ooh, it's tempting. But I know if I pick this up, I would then have to backtrack and get the Minosaur and the Devastator. And I just don't know if I want to. I don't know where I would put all this. I'd probably have to put all these on my desk or something like that, and that's just something I don't want to have to explain to my better half.
Yeah, and I think the price would probably be turning you away. I don't remember which Devastator it was, but there was that one Devastator that was like 280 for a Legends class
Yeah,
combiner, and that is just way too much for me.
yeah, it's something. I mean, just for storage purposes, I'm still doing my masterpiece thing, and I still have some chug scale. I just do not want to open up that door of going in hard with Legends. And New Age and Magic Square are coming out with some amazing things, but gosh, I'd have to pick Happy
Yes.
Home or my Transformers collection.
Well, at least it's easy not to get Legends.
Yeah, for now.
For now, yes. So let's move on to the last thing for the recently released, or excuse me, the just announced, and that is we've got updated leaks for both Transformers Legacy Evolution and Transformers Studio Series. Now, we're not going to go too in depth into this because I think we can make a full episode on this and with our thoughts on what's coming out, supposedly. But I wanted to talk about some of the highlights. So, the ones that stuck out to me were Shadow Striker, Bombshell, Bludgeon, and Detrius. Those are the ones that I'm most excited for that we haven't heard about yet. And I know you would be interested in the Studio Series 86 Brawn that
Yeah.
supposedly leaked. And the last one that had me kind of curious is the War for Cybertron Megatron and Optimus. Is that
Yeah.
War for Cybertron like the video games? Are they going into that? Because if they are, I might be all in on those. Because I grew up with those games as well. Or are they doing the War for Cybertron like the Netflix TV show and just re-releasing those?
I was thinking that they were re-releasing them,
Yeah,
but
that I
you
don't know which one's which. So
yeah. And out of that, the Bombshell I will be picking up as well. But yes, I'm so ready for that 86 Braun. I mean, as a kid watching the movie, that was the first time I saw death on on TV for an animated cartoon or movie. And when he got shot, I was just like, wow, okay, Braun, you're gonna get back up. No, you're not getting up. So I would like to recreate that scene to torture my heart.
as
Um,
traumatic as it is.
yeah, with these some of these figures they've recently released, Ironhide included.
Yeah, so I think we'll go into this more depth at a later date.
Yeah,
But it looks like 2023 is shaping up to have something a little bit for me and a little bit for you.
it is. It's looking like a
Yeah.
good year.
Mhm. All right, so let's move on to some updates. So these are things that were already announced and they have new pictures or new prices or whatnot. So the first thing is the Iron Romance Workshop IRS-01 Bloody Azura, which is the Legends scale Samurai Beast Wars Rampage. That is a mouthful. This looks really cool, but I just want a normal Beast Wars Rampage, and I don't know why nobody's doing it, and I'm hoping Transart eventually gets to him, because I really want a Masterpiece Rampage and Depth Charge.
So I vaguely remember the character,
Ugh.
and and I say vaguely meaning because I didn't have any ties to it. I
Mhm.
watched the show and he came on, and I remember him fighting Depth Charge, and I didn't have any connection to either one, so it was just like, okay, whoever takes the other out is fine with me. But I'm I'm not a fan of the figure. I
Mhm.
don't know what I would have expected, but the samurai idea doesn't really float with me. It does. I like the colors on this. I do, and it looks like a solid figure though. It looks really. I mean, those legs look really good. Actually, you may have to go get some seafood this weekend. I don't know, but it's it looks like a really good figure though. I just don't know if
Yes,
it's
I
for my
agree.
collection.
100%, especially since it's Legends class. That
Yeah.
knocks it out right away.
And actually, I just
Of
noticed that the head
Yeah.
is his crotch in bot mode too.
Uh-huh.
I'm curious of how the transformation works, but
Yes, and I think that head is really well done. Maybe not
yeah,
for a transformer, but as a toy, it is very well done.
yeah, it looks good.
Okay, so let's move on to some Hasbro. We've got in-hand images of Voyager, Metalhawk, and Twincast, which we just talked about last week. And I highlighted two of the pictures on the side of things that I don't think we saw in the live stream. So we were able to see that I always get these guys mixed up. Rewind slash eject is still see-through, which is kind of a bummer. And we could see that Metalhawk actually can store the sword on his back, which I think is really cool because I like that realistic weapon storage like that.
Yeah, we talked about it, and I think I'm still in on picking both of these up.
Mm.
The transparent eject is, take it or leave it. But that twin cast just looks, those colors just pop. So I'm all in for it. Actually, both of these, I think it's more so on the colors that are popping for me and would stand out on my shelves that I'm really in on these two.
Yes, and I'll be getting the Metal Hawk, but the twin cast, it's nice. It's just not for me. So next we have my and your favorite Legends figure, and that
Oh,
is the
you.
Dinobots. So they showed it off. One of the designers showed it off in combine mode, and this, I don't want to sound like a broken record. I really don't, but it gets worse and worse and worse. And I get what they're going for. This is going to be repainted as Dino King 100% because they're in the right positions. It's going to be Dino King. But just come on. It's not even as big as a Voyager for 6 Legends class figures. So that's going to be what?
Well, they're core class.
70
They're core
core,
class.
excuse me, core class figures. So this is going to be 70 plus dollars, not including tax. And it's not even as big as a Voyager. That blows my mind, honestly. And they don't have stupid elbows. What is up with that? I don't get it. I
Uh, yeah. Uh, mm, uh, I'm so lost for words. I I've seen that some people really, really love this, and I'm excited for those people who love it.
Me too.
This is definitely, not for me. I guess I should say not for us, but to those that love it, you know, I'm glad that Hasbro took a step out of things that I would typically think they would do to try something new. So I'll give them kudos for that. And bringing in a Volcanicus is cool. It's just, I mean, I didn't even grow up with the Dinobots combining. So when I first saw that happen, I was just like, whoa, what is this? This is
Well,
not what I'm used to.
yeah, they combined in one comic where they became what was called the Beast in like 2005, and it was a disaster. Like in the comics, it was a disaster, and he destroyed everybody and blah blah blah. And then they brought him back for Combiner Wars. So
Right.
most people that are, you know, over the age of 25, even earlier than that, did not grow up with the Dinobots combining.
Yeah.
But
It was
I'm
something that,
glad they do because
yeah.
Shura King is an amazing figure.
I mean, as a kid, I always wanted the Dinobots to combine. So, it's cool. It just doesn't look the way I would have expected it to look. And I guess that's probably my biggest concern with this and why I won't be picking it up.
And I think it doesn't look the way you want it to look because it's Dino King that they're shooing in to the Dinobots. I think that's why it doesn't, that's why Grimlock's a leg. That's why, it looks the way it does is because it's not supposed to be the Dinobots. But they know the Dinobots are probably going to sell better than an obscure Japanese character. So I will stick with the fans project one I got for, I got it for double the price of this, which I am very happy with. All right, so let's move on to another combiner, which is the Masterpiece Raiden, and this is Seizon. And I wanted to bring attention to the combiner port, because that is a very unique way of combining that.
Yeah. This whole combiner was unique and not necessarily in a good way.
Yeah.
This arm does look better than seeing a close up of it, but I just maybe if Radiotron or Moon Studio didn't make theirs and have it come out at the same time, or actually complete it beforehand, maybe I would probably be more in on this because I wouldn't have anything to compare it to. but because it
I-
because it was announced around the same time and it hasn't come out, it's just not meeting the mark, and it's actually disappointing to me. But I the price point initially was like two something, I believe, for them, and they brought the price down. I think I even saw somewhere that this is like 114 or something like that. So the price is a little bit better than what it was initially. But I just don't know if I can pull the trigger on these. Well, I know I can't pull the trigger on. I'm not going to pull the trigger on these.
yes, and my trigger finger is definitely off of the trigger because I'm not doing that either. I'm happy for the people just like the Dinobot combiner. If you like this, great. I want to see what it looks like for you, but I won't be picking this up at all. I and I'm very sad because this is the first masterpiece combiners, and I was hoping it was going to be good for me personally, and it's just not there.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
train mode looks amazing though. I'll give them that.
Yes, they look really, really good.
Yeah. Okay, so next is something I think you might be interested in if you don't already have it, and that's Make Toys MTRM-EX03 Nova Swarm, which is Sunstorm, and it's back up for pre-order at Show Z. Now, do you have this figure, Bobby?
Yes, I picked it up in Chicago actually.
Okay.
And I'll be honest, they look great. But I've had QC issues with
Mhm.
all three of them that I have now. So um the transformation, the fists are supposed to turn in like this, and one turns in this way, the other one turns out this way, and they're supposed to come in together so they don't meet. And I think it was a factory issue that they all came out this way. So hopefully, with this re-release, they fix that. But I do have this one, and it looks great in both modes. But that was my only hiccup, was the QC issue there.
Gotcha. Yes, and I'll probably be passing on this because it is not the Sunstorm colors I like.
You
There
want the
is
yellow,
way too
more
not
yellow?
even the yellow. I just want to see more flames on it somewhere. I don't
Oh,
know. It's very bland. Just like
they're
we're getting the acid swarm. I think that's what they call them, the acid storm version, and that's not the
mhm.
colors I like either. But acid storm is my favorite seeker, so I'm picking it up. So yeah,
I'm pick-
that's where I stand with this. But it looks nice. Let us know in the comments if you're going to be picking it up, if you've already picked it up, or if you're not interested at all.
yeah.
So now we've got some final prices of some figures. And the first one I'm actually interested in, and I think the second one you're going to be interested in. So the first one is the Transform and Rollout TR02 Commander of the Stars, which is obviously Cybertron or Galaxy Force Optimus Prime. And it's only going to be $144.99, which is super reasonable. I think this thing's like 10, 11, 12 inches tall, somewhere around there. I don't know with combined mode height. But this thing looks great. I will be holding off for the repainted version where the black is, I mean, excuse me, the blue is black. That's the color I want. That's the color I remember seeing in stores. I never had the original figures, but that's the color I remember seeing in stores. So that is the one I want.
And I will be passing on this because I have no ties to this version of Optimus Prime at all.
I don't really have many ties. I just think it looks sick, to be quite honest with you. I think this is heads and tails above G1, but that's just me. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll give you a heart attack. This just
yeah,
looks
yeah.
just this looks
You're
cool.
you're making me sick. I need to take some medicine sick.
Well, exactly. That's my job here. It's something. Let's move on to something you would like, which is Star Toys ST01, their Blitzwing, and the final price is only $114.99, which is
I have it
very
pre-ordered.
respectable.
Yeah, I have it pre-ordered. It's putting pressure on fans toys to hopefully hurry up and release their version, but this is the best Blitzwing from a third party that I've seen, and I have two of them already. So I'm looking forward to getting this. I'm just waiting for the release date.
Gotcha. I will not be getting this. It is way too tuned for me. Those thighs look horrible to me. The crotch looks bad. There's no detailing anywhere on this thing, and I know that's how it looked like in the tune. But I'll take my Galaxy Force Prime, and you can have this figure, and we'll call it even. How's that sound?
We'll call it even. Yeah, you pick up a bot, I pick up a con. There we go. Fair trade.
Exactly. So let's move on to what is incoming. Now, I was only able to find one thing out of everything that's been coming out. It's really heavy with things being announced. So, and that is the Shock Warrior SW02 oversized Studio Series Bumblebee Ironhide. Now, I know you're probably going to pick this up because we repainted it, correct?
Ironically enough,
You have it right there.
this is as close to that type of figure as I'm getting. So shouts out to TFCon Chicago, but I will not be picking this up.
I actually I think they did a good job with this knockoff. I think it has really cool ping taps. I think the transformation's better, but I won't be picking this up either. The only way I would pick it up is if I could get render form to print out that strong arm head in a bigger size and repaint it as Striker. But other than that, I'm not picking this up.
Yeah, the colors are really, really bright. I mean, it's just like,
Yeah.
wow, that's some really good color there. Some really good paint.
It looks good, you know.
It does.
And for those of you that are into the Bumblebee movie figures, I think this will fit right in with some of the third-party masterpiece versions of those molds.
I would grab it if I was. I would.
Yeah.
It does. It looks that good. I would grab it if I was.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to what was recently released. So the first thing, which is something that I'm going to be, well, I'm going to be getting it. We already talked about it, but I need to go look for these. So people found the Legacy Evolution Thundercracker, Nemesis Prime, and Grimlock. Now the Grimlock will stay on the shelf for the next person. But they found these in San Jose already, which is very close to my location. So I'm going to probably after work go look around, see what I could find. So, and see if I could get multiple Nemesis Primes, because that's my favorite one out of the bunch.
Yeah, I'll be picking up that Nemesis and that Thundercracker, so I'm going to look tomorrow myself.
Yeah, and let me know if you find them, because I'm definitely going to be checking them out too. So
yeah,
hopefully we both get lucky.
Yeah, if I see two, I'll pick up one for you.
Sounds good. So next we have one figure we talked about, one we didn't in previous episodes. So we've got New Age's H27M David, the electroplating version, and New Age's H35C Cyclops, the comic version, and it's Optimus Prime and Shockwave. These are out. You could order them on Show Z right now, and they look pretty good. Again, I think if you were a Legends collector, you would not be able to skip these. But as you have been collecting them, you're not going to pick them up.
Man, that Prime looks amazing.
It does.
Those colors are beautiful. And yes, I would buy that in a heartbeat. And I'm looking at the background, and I swear, I mean, you've seen some pictures of my collection, so which we'll be showing off soon. That would just start a whole nother issue in my house. So it looks great, though. I mean, ooh, that's tempting. That is very, very tempting. And that Shockwave looks good as well, but that Prime is very tempting. Those colors are gorgeous.
Yes. And I know I said G1 Optimus wasn't my favorite version of it, but this one is gorgeous. And honestly, if that was Masterpiece scale or even Chug, I might go after it, even though it's a tune. It's not that tune. It still looks kind of cool. So I would honestly pick this up if it was larger. But as far as Legends, I'm not paying the price for what it is.
Yeah.
I think it's like $100 for a 5-inch, but no, 4 to 5 inch figure. So that's too much for me.
I don't want to buy another case.
And then something I think you already purchased. We have Trailbreaker that is now in stock at Show Z. I don't know if it's in stock elsewhere. I forgot to check. And we've already talked for a while on this figure. I'm really not the biggest fan of it. I did watch a transformation video, and it looks kind of interesting. So I'll give the designers that. It's just the tomb aesthetic I don't like. But it's out right now, so let us know if you have it.
I literally just got a message that was an update on the tracking for this figure. So hopefully I should be getting it in the next couple of days, and we'll go ahead and post a little review on that.
Let's do it. So moving into movies again, we have Unique Toys R05 Desperado, and this is their desert version. And this is the Megatron from, I believe it's Dark of the Moon. And I think we've talked about some figures like that before. I won't collect this, but dang, does that look good. The weathering on that is very well, excuse me, very well done.
I thought you would jump on this to go with your Desert Prime figure. I mean, perfect team up there.
Well, why don't you pick it up? Because you have that figure as well.
Hey, we're not talking about me right now. Honestly, this I don't like the bot mode at all. But that alt mode, that truck looks really good.
It does.
But I'm not a fan of the figure or the character, that version, I should say, of the character at all. So I'd probably save the money and just go buy a truck that looked like that instead.
Yeah, I agree. I think this looks great for what it is, but it's just not for my collection. So, but again, like we talked about, if you're into the movie verse, this would be a must buy. I mean,
Yeah,
this looks gorgeous, but it's just not for my collection.
yeah, that alt mode is. I mean, that looks like some Mad Max, you know, killer truck
Yes,
there. So
yes, and they
that
need
looks
to
cool.
do more of that with Transformers. Yes, me.
Of course.
So moving on to something that's very similar. This is the Devil Savior DSO through compressor, which is Overload, I believe, and it's part of their Devastator. Now, again, I don't collect this, but that bot mode looks so weird. It has me intrigued. It's looks like an insect alien from, outer space that's gonna come and, snatch your body. I don't know. I think it looks really cool. I'd love to see how it transforms, but it is definitely not for me.
I am Man, I have passed on this so hard. This, uh, yeah, ah, it's I like red or burgundy or that's all I
That's
got.
about it. It's
That's
about
all
it.
I
No,
got.
I just think it looks cool. I like the body shape. It's different. I like the
That
arms, how
it
the
is.
arms are doing weird things, and I think that's really unique and cool. But I don't like the Devastator from the movie, so I will not be picking this up at all. And it's like $150, so that's way over my. This would have to be like $20, and I'd be like, you know what? I'll get it, but that's
This
it.
could be $1.50, and I'd buy it for you. But yeah, nope, nope, not gonna do
I
it.
was just about to say, if it's that cheap, I'll buy it for you, Bobby.
I need the receipt, please. Gift receipt, please.
Okay, Bill, let's move on to something not movie related that I know you already have in your possession, and that's both
Yeah,
versions of Double Agent or Double Dealer. Now, I
yes.
picked this picture in particular because it was hard to find another picture that showed off the differences between the two. So this shows that there are two versions, and you can go ahead and pick them up. I'm hoping to pick one up sometime, but it's just not in the cards right now. I think this looks great.
Which one are you going for?
The purple wings.
Figures. So yeah, so I do have both of them. I have one version displayed in bot mode with the purple wings, and the other one displayed as the Autobot without the purple wings showing. So both modes, both bot modes look great. The vehicle mode looks great. I don't really care for this vulture or buzzard mode at all. I think this is the weakest version of or weakest mode of the figure, but it's
Mhm.
a great figure. I like it. Very, very easy to transform. Nothing feels like it's going to break or anything like that. No wonky, tabs or anything like that. But I really like it. But yeah, I have both versions because I couldn't determine which one I wanted color wise. So I got both.
I don't blame you. It does look good in both colors.
Yeah.
So now on to something that I think you are interested in as well, and that's X-Transbots MX8Y Aegis and Yellow and Striker Diamond, which is the blue version.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, you said you were going to be picking these guys up.
Yeah. I'm leaning towards picking them up, and I'm creating another shelf which is going to kind of be my alternate colored versions of figures. And so I have, excuse me, I have Trailbreaker, I have a Hoist, and so they have the record colors, and so these would fit in as alternative colors of Trailbreaker and my shelf. So I am looking at picking these up.
You
I'm
know,
hoping
the
I can
more I
catch a
look
sale on these.
the more I look at them, I do like their colors, especially on that blue one.
Yeah.
But I'll be passing on these mostly because it's X-Trans bots, and I do not want to get another one after my experience with them.
I get
So,
it.
but they look
Get it.
gorgeous. I like that they come with the extra heads. So I'll be
Yeah, there's a lot
interested
of
to
options.
see when you pick them up what they look like.
Yeah, a lot of options with them. So
So now let's move on to the last figure of this news cycle, and that is the KO Oversized Combiner Wars Hotspot. So this is set B. So the set A comes with all of the limbs. And this looks actually really nice. I probably won't be picking it up because I already have the Make Toys hotspot or Defensor, and that's perfectly fine with me. But this looks really cool. I want them to repaint this, and I catch myself saying it, but I swear it's genuine, guys. It's not me trying to make a joke of myself. I really want this as Megatronian. That's what I want. Um, but we'll see if that comes out.
yes, I have the knockoff. I have the Yes model Defensor. I have the G Creations
Mhm.
Defensor. I'm working on the X Transbots Defensor, and I'm working on the MMC Defensor. I think I have enough of the Protectobots.
You sure? It'll only be like
And
120
that's
for the set.
I'm good, and I have the regular size version of this. So
Wow. I'm
the Combiner
surprised
Wars
you're
version of
passing on
this.
something so cheap.
I I think that would just be too much. And honestly, the Protectobots aren't my favorite combiner, so it's yeah, it's pointless. And I really like what the third parties are doing, and I think that's good enough. I'm saying no.
Good for you. Good for you. So that's everything we have for you guys today. There was a lot. So I hope you guys enjoyed hearing our thoughts about this. Like, comment, and subscribe, and do all those YouTube things for us. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys very, very soon.
Yeah, to all debates are won.
Bye bye.
Bye.